I mean, LIPA is probably a good example of a very successful affinity group, but a lot of the other ones are based on, let's say, ethnicity. And so mostly what they're looking for is better representation, which is the one issue. There are many other issues out there where the people are not organized. There
is a new one that I just heard about this week, because when they saw this, they invited me to come speak, and she said, so far it's only mothers, but we hope fathers will join us. So there is a new...
There are Yahoo groups, which could be the nucleus of various affinity groups, because there are at least 12 different groups. FS Parents, there's the Special Education Needs, there's FS Pets, there are a bunch out there that reflect people who are having issues and problems in managing their careers and their lives, and therefore they're banding together.
That's part of the key to your solution. You have to empower that, and you have to connect it to senior leadership in some way so that they get the point. They aren't just groups out there just spinning their wheels, but they actually would improve the organization and make you a world-class, competitive outfit.
Well, you know what they sometimes say is, oh, we already rank, third or fifth in the Muslim environment.
Well, you're not doing so well in the work life.
I mean, the two things that would get attention, I think, is are we able to attract the best talent, and are we able to retain them? What I've discovered is we don't even keep attrition data by gender. So we have a leaky pipeline of women. It's clear. We're not. The women are not well represented at the top, and yet we have parity at the bottom. So somewhere along the line we're losing it, but we don't even know where. So I think we need to get at some of those issues.
The retention is so high, so that's normally the issue that you hear from HR, from the
pretty
state.
high,
It's pretty high, so it's not an issue.
Attrition has risen slightly, but it's very small. If you look at this year's to last year, it's like a 100% increase, which sounds like a lot, but the number was so small.
But I think we need to make it about a figure. I calculated mine. It's several $1 million between learning Japanese and Malay and a number of other things. If I walk out the door tomorrow, is that an acceptable loss? I don't know if you put it in those
to the
terms.
department, it is, because they don't calculate it that way.
Yeah.
And if up or out would be that. If you monetized up or out, you would see a huge loss and waste of taxpayer dollars.
Doug has been waiting for some time.
Family, very few. Actually, that's all. It's an interesting discussion. I want to take it in a completely different direction, so please forgive me, everyone, if you want to pursue. I teach a course on the Foreign Service to senior undergraduates and recent graduates. And the issue I've not heard anyone even touch on before, so I'd just like to comment, and that is the Foreign Service has faced unusual hardships in the past 8-9 years with respect to Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and those are all sort of, if you will, a subset of work-life balance issues. And I was curious to kind of get a sense of how you all feel the department has fared in all of that, and comment back to the DOD how they haven't fared. We're not soldiers, but yet the hardships have been very, very real for officers and all of their families. And I'm sort of curious, and has it actually promoted an improving sort of culture of taking these things into account to keep up retention, to be able to move people from post to post to post in one-year assignments rather than 2 or 3 or 4?
It's a big question, and Leslie Teixeira, who's the director of Flow, might chime in here. The department has given, I feel a little funny speaking about this because it's a bit out, it's a bit of a broad question, but I think everyone realizes the department has taken a very serious look at the sacrifices and what they're asking of people, and have tried to match this with appropriate compensation and appropriate support for family members as good as it can be, given the fact that by definition you're going to have to be separated. When we joined the Foreign Service, there were hardly any jobs where families were separated, and now there what are we saying? 1,000. And so when we ask about work, how's your work-life balance? A lot of it goes back to, well, am I on a separated assignment right now? And if the answer is yes, well, maybe it's not so good. So, but there are certain things that have been done. We've been had good cooperation to allow families, for example, if a family is overseas at a post and one of the employees is going to go serve in Iraq, that family can stay at post, sort of a shelter in place, if you will, so as not to completely disrupt the family There are extensive leave packages that have been put in place and compensation packages, and I don't know if there are enough really ongoing good assignments to make everybody totally happy when they come out of these places. I think that's one of the sort of the promises that has been difficult to stand by. But, and of course, a lot of the staffing has been done by contract and other means, hiring 3161 employees. I mean, looking everywhere to try to find the employees that we need to do this work. So I don't know. It's not a great situation though. If you expect to be basically to be with your family in the Foreign Service as opposed to military, which expect to be separated, then already that's a difficulty. And the numbers of unaccompanied posts have increased. Not posts, unaccompanied assignments have definitely increased.
Yeah, and if I could just comment briefly, I don't have by any means an in-depth understanding or knowledge of how the assignment process is working, but I do know that it's something that they are paying a lot of attention to and trying to really look at how can we support people better, not just getting them out there, but what do we do with them once they come out of those assignments, and how do we support people afterwards. And I think so far a lot of the focus has been sort of more, emotional support and how do we help people, reintegrate to a certain extent. We don't do it as well as the military does. We don't have the structure. We don't have the experience. We're trying to learn from the military. I know our unaccompanied tourist staff meet with the military, talk to them, talk to the deployment, I never remember, DMS, deployment, DSM people, thank you. I always get those confused. So I think there's a lot that can be done, but I think that the will is there to improve the support that we provide both to the employees in terms of what happens to the employees afterwards, and also to the families both during and again afterwards. And I think that initially the support was focused on, we're throwing these people out there, let's, what can we do quick and dirty to support the families during the separation? And I think the focus is shifting now to, oh my gosh, this is not just a one-time deal and it's not just this year. This is something that's going to continue into the future, and we really need to be looking at sort of how do we systemically approach this, not just from the Family Liaison Office perspective of supporting the families primarily, but also looking at sort of the whole, what is the impact on the Foreign Service psyche and assignment process. And I can only tell you that I know that those conversations are going on.
Any other comments anyone has on this?
Yes.
Yes, I know.
Yes. My name is Ann Dix. I'm a Foreign Service Officer with USAID. And, I wanted to share with you the fact that a lot of the issues that you described here are the same issues that we have at AID, except it's a value effect. And the reason for that is because we don't have as many types of assignments at AID as you might have at the State Department or other agencies. And we're extremely short-staffed, just like all the other agencies are. And of particular concern, of course, is the issue of the CPC assignments and how we go about handling them. And especially for families that have to stay behind because there practically is no support system. And then afterwards, what do we do with all the people that come back with PTSD? Because a lot of the people who work for AID aren't just going out and working, at an embassy and not having to go out and work at project sites. They're out at the PRTs, out in the field, risking their lives, going out with these kids from the military. As far as I can tell, there's very little. Things are improving. I have to say that. I've worked for the agency for 10 years, and I can see, a very gradual